can talk about is some bit of news that just dropped today. And it is that Suicide Squad 2 is happening, but it's not called Suicide Squad 2. I think it's kind of like a semi-reboot almost. There's certain characters that are returning, some characters that aren't. I think I even heard something about Harley Quinn is probably likely to return into something like Suicide Squad 2.
I think it's confirmed that Margot Robbie as her role as Harley Quinn.
Oh, she still has it. It's just like, does she appear in the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, in the Suicide Squad.
Because I'm pretty sure they're not going to get rid of her anytime soon. Like, she's going to be, I think she should be one of those very hard ones to kind of replace as someone who's like part of the superhero zeitgeist, kind of like a Wolverine almost, where it's going to be...
Well, that, and she's a really popular, like, Margot Robbie is really popular with, like, that's the other main thing, right?
Yeah.
People want to see attractive people, and they want to see Margot's iteration of Harley Quinn. Now, whether or not it's any good, that's another question. Maybe, like, given all the shot of the emancipation of Harley Quinn, or whatever the Birds of Prey movie is called. Like, I don't know. I'm not really too big of a fan of what might happen. However, with the new direction that that the new Suicide Squad movie is going, I can see a potential for it to be good, especially given the news that apparently Idris Elba is in talks to replace Will Smith on Suicide Squad, which is really interesting. I didn't really expect that. There wasn't, like, when I woke up this morning, I didn't expect that's what was going to be in the news.
Definitely. I thought, like, I was not going to hear it for, like, anything about, like, Suicide Squad or anything like that for a while. So it's like, I've heard that, like, James Gunn is writing and directing it, and, he has a new set of kind of cast and characters so, like, some are in, some are out. And people were speculating, like, yeah, Harley Quinn probably, Deadshot as well, probably. But the news is that, like, Idris Elba, is going to be kind of replacing Will Smith as a Deadshot. And that to me is like this. I was just like, is that a rumor, or like, because it sounds fake, and I had to like type it up, and then I typed it up. Yeah. I'm like, oh no, it's actually happening. I'm like, okay then.
It does kind of sound like a fake rumor, doesn't it? But like, you know what? It has been a while since we've had something like a major main character being replaced in like a superhero movie, and it being just accepted as like canon or something. Like, maybe it kind of reminds me, like, maybe the last time it happened was maybe Rhodey in Iron Man,
or like even like the Incredible Hulk, for example. Edward Norton.
Yeah,
everyone forgets about him.
Edward Norton. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's easy to forget that particular movie is even canon, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Rhodey, was Rhodey replaced for Iron Man 2? I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, like the first movie was Terrence Howard. Like show me the money guy. No, was it? No, it's the other guy.
Yeah. I think it's Terrence Howard. No,
it was. I think so, or it was. I don't know. It was one of them, and then he got replaced by Don Cheadle, which is like, I feel like Don Cheadle does a good job, but he's very much like, he's a lot more lesser of a personality. Cause like, the person they had before that, there was like, especially when you rewatch like the first Iron Man, there's a lot more kind of like back and forth jokes between both of them, and they do feel like more like they have more chemistry. And I feel like Don Cheadle is very much like playing the very much straight man, where he's just, composed, I suppose.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, at least in the later iterations, it is very much like, oh, he's just there, right? Like, yeah, so it is Terrence Howard. I'm doing a live fact check, right? And yeah, I definitely agree. Terrence Howard and Robert Downey Jr. did have like a lot of on-screen chemistry. Like, you believe that they were friends and they've been friends for a while. Whereas Don Cheadle, yeah, like, he's done fine as the character, but then it's like, oh, cool, they've had him around because eventually they'll have to make him War Machine. But then they've sidelined him in the later movies anyway, right? Like, they broke his legs, or sorry, not broke his leg, broke his spine? I don't know. Vision's laser beam.
I have to rewatch some of these films,
Yeah, well, yeah, they laser beam, then he needs robo leg to walk. And then, like, he was in, Infinity War for a little bit. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the characters, like, you know, they're kind of you know, forgettable, and that's why like the minor characters have been replaced. But they've never had like someone like, oh, you know what? Like we've had a really bad interaction with Robert Downey Jr. We're going to replace him with this guy. Obviously because it's a pretty good gig to be the main character. You don't want to mess up what's good, right? You want to play ball. And, but subsequently, it is very strange to see something like, oh, Will Smith isn't coming back as, you know, well, you know, Deadshot as in the future movies. Now, that being said, I kind of found that Deadshot in the original Suicide Squad movie was just Will Smith playing Will Smith. And this is someone who's a pretty big fan of Will Smith. I loved him in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where he played Will Smith. But I feel like
he always plays himself.
Yeah, exactly. With a lot of the case, like, you know, a lot of Will Smith's movie does end up kind of making him play one note, but it might just be how he's been typecast. There are obviously other movies where he's played beyond his, you know, usual character roles. Pursuit of Happiness is one of these movies. It's another great movie that I really liked with him in it. But again, you know, you look at some of the movies that he's been, and yeah, it's not super duper amazing. I mean, I don't think people excited for the new Aladdin movie after seeing him as the genie, especially with all the memes that have been coming out.
He's not blue enough, and then he's like too blue.
He's too blue. I don't know. It just looked like his face is just CGI'd on, you know, like on a blue
I think
screen
it's the Will Smith like cheeky smile that he has. There's something about it. I'm just like, it just doesn't work in CGI.
Maybe. But yeah, like so I'm not really too like I'm surprised he doesn't want to return, but I guess it does give him an open spot to maybe be in a Marvel movie if you think about it, right? Like, you know, he can be, because because the exact same thing is happening to Idris Elba right now. He's no longer in a Marvel movie because his character Heimdall got killed. All right, well, let's stick him in a DC movie, right? Now, I personally would have wanted him to play Jon Stewart as Green Lantern. And I think a lot of people would have preferred that. But, you know, we're probably not going to be getting that.
We're probably not even going to get a Green Lantern for like a while, probably.
Yeah, probably not. But like, I mean, like, look, if Captain Marvel ends up doing well, it kind of shows that there's a potential to have a good Green Lantern movie. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I think they'll, because like, I think right now, like, they're focusing on their core at the current moment, and they're not going to try to do like all these new characters as of yet. Like, they're still like trying to do the Batman one. Who knows what they're doing with Superman? That's the running joke. Flash could be some sort of doing it, and then like Aquaman seemed to be such a huge hit that they're doing 2 spin-offs of that film. Aquaman 2 and the Trench, like horror film, and then they're doing all the Harley Quinn stuff. So I feel like they're kind of doubling down of what they kind of have at the current moment, instead of being like, also Green Lantern and like Cyborg has his own movie now. So I feel like they're very much like culling stuff, and it's probably for the best in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they're focusing on the movies that are doing well, at least from a DC perspective, right? Like, again, they're going to be releasing a new Wonder Woman, and I'm looking forward to the new Wonder Woman because Gal Gadot does a very excellent job playing a character that you can both sympathize with and then also look up to, right? You know, I think like it was ages where people, you know, were saying that like, oh, when are we going to get like the first female superhero movie? Oh, they're not going to be successful. That's the reason why they don't get made. But Wonder Woman just shows that it's got nothing to do with kind of the gender of the character, but whether the character is well written. And Wonder Woman is a well written character, and it has an extensive history. And sometimes you just need to have the right person to direct and make that movie. And that's what came out of 2017's Wonder Woman, which it kind of blows my mind. It's almost been 2 years since Wonder Woman came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm thinking about kind of rewatching it because I remember, it like there's really great set pieces in there. Gal Gadot does an amazing performance of attaching yourself to the character and like you know, seeing kind of things through her own eyes. And I just remember like quite a really good cinematography, and I just remember colors. I remember very much the colors were very different. And just very interesting, and that's what I kind of like to see, kind of in film and things like that. But like, you know, throwing it back to you know, Suicide Squad, it's like I'm very interested in how James Gunn his different feel and I guess take of Suicide Squad. And Idris Elba generally, like, he does some comedy stuff here and there, but he is very much a like actor of actors type of thing. I feel like he can like overact pretty much. He could have overacted everyone in the MCU. Basically, he's probably the best actor out of everyone, surprisingly. But he was very much underutilized. So I feel like he's finally he's finally taken like the main stage. Because like I'm assuming Deadshot will be one of the main ones. Or like, because like the whole problem with Suicide Squad, the 2016 film, is that with the comic book, everyone is kind of generic. Well, like not 52 one, because the new 52 like introduced Harley Quinn, and that's kind of what we got. But the old school one was kind of like all these people are like at the same level. It wasn't like, because you can definitely tell 2016's Suicide Squad was very much Deadshot's and like Harley Quinn's film. Those were the two main protagonists, kind of thing. And then there was like this...
and Joker. But yeah, from the actual squad itself, yes, yeah. They're the main characters who kind of pop. And well, and and we both know why that's the case, is because the big actors in those films play those two roles. And you know what, I never really thought of it like that, but I think you're absolutely correct. Like when you look at Suicide Squad the comic, they're usually like these B-list villains of A-list characters. You have Captain Boomerang. Deadshot obviously isn't necessarily. They've all risen from their original kind of ranking at the time. But before, they used to just be like, oh, who are some characters that we can get and then put at risk to potential death in this kind of gimmick that we have, where they have to work for Amanda Waller and her Task Force X. It kind of leads to like this air of mystery, and whether or not one character is going to betray another, and is it going to result in their head blowing up? Who knows? But when you have things like big name actors and actresses playing these main characters, it kind of gives them a little bit of I forget what it's called, like
they're kind of like a safeguard almost. But like the way I look at it is, I feel like James Gunn is pretty smart enough that he maybe sort of knows about that, in a sense, where like maybe he would do something where like it wouldn't necessarily kill per se, but it would be something like the story is more about the mission, and they're about the characters working on the mission, and that's kind of the thing, and everyone kind of has their own equal screen time. So like, for example, you can get very big like named actors, for example, because they like James Gunn could be like, oh yeah, your character is like only like 15 minutes in the movie, because it's like everyone else in the movie gets 15 minutes as well, maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there, but like you can kind of like spread it out, so it's almost like it's not like one character's story. Then it's just multiple, so like you could very much have like, it's like a few days filming, do this and do that, and I feel like they could easily do something like that where they focus on a particular thing. But who knows, because like there was early rumors about like Shazam being the bad guy. I mean, not Shazam, Black Adam being the bad guy, but who knows at this point? Like I'm just very interested in what they do with this property, because once again, Suicide Squad has always been my favorite, like nearly IP of DC Comics. I just really like the idea. It's just really pulpy and really cool. So I'm very excited to see Idris Elba do something, and hopefully, basically people made the joke that he played Deadshot in a movie called The Dark Tower. That film.
I see. Right. I see. Well, look. Yeah. Like the word that I for was plot armor. Right. Like some characters have plot armor when they have a big name actors attached to them. I think the correct way to do Suicide Squad is, if they were to do it again, is to have everyone be these nameless actors, or not super big actors, and so they don't even know whether or not they'll survive by the end of the actual movie itself. I think that's probably how like every week they're given part of the script, like kind of like a Survivor-esque kind of role. Like they all get paid like similar amounts. And then slowly by filming, they find out whether they live or die. I think that would have been an interesting way to do it. But like ultimately, like, yeah, it would be like you have these kind of lower C-grade actors playing C-grade villains. It keeps the costs down, but then you can do cool things with it, like killing off a character and then it not, hurting the bank too much. When you have to have Idris Elba and like Margot Robbie and Will Smith, they're going to take up a lot of the actual cost of making the movie. Just having them in it alone. But again, we'll see. Again, James Gunn, I didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy, any of them. One is better than two, though, I will admit. But eventually, they did kind of come together as a team of sorts. So hopefully they can kind of do that with the new Suicide Squad.
They'll be like, what are we? Some kind of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just hoping that they can make a competent film that has a plot that is relative to the power set that the characters in the actual movie has. It'd be interesting, because they always usually have Harley Quinn, they'll have Deadshot, they'll have Captain Boomerang, and then like the other couple of spaces are usually opened up to one character that will die, like instantaneously in some capacity. Someone who's got he's really strong. Usually they have that played by, Killer Croc, or they'll have, the big shark guy.
Oh yeah.
I forget his name. King Shark. They usually have King Shark. I think he was in actually the latest episode of The Flash. And then they, usually have somebody with some kind of power,
Killer Frost.
Firepower. Yeah, Killer Frost, or they had it with, I forget his name actually, but he's really cool. The dude who had El Diablo. Yeah. I really like his character. I liked his character in the comics when they introduced him, and I like him in Suicide Squad as well. He's got a pretty interesting, kind of character and backstory. Very, very tortured soul. And again, that's kind of half what the whole point of Suicide Squad is. It's you have a bunch of bad people, but some of them aren't as bad as you make them out to be. The thing with Will Smith, yeah, he kills people. But in the end, you can't really see him as a bad guy. Whereas the original iteration of Floyd Lawton, he's more of a bad guy than he is a good guy. He'll just kill people and he's unafraid of doing it. But he loves his daughter. And that's kind of the thing that kind of tethers him to the real world and makes the audience kind of sympathize a little bit with him when he's just blowing 100 people's heads off with his guns, backwards, upside down, that's kind of the point. I think Idris probably does sound like somebody who can pull off a character like that better than Will Smith, but I guess we'll have to wait and see, because again, these are just talks at the moment. Nothing's completely confirmed at this stage.
Yeah, how there's going to be a new Superman. Yeah, sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, let's face it. DC kind of has to do their soft reboot, and hopefully maybe Wonder Woman is part of that. I remember mentioning it earlier on an earlier podcast that maybe there might be some kind of big change that happens that might bring Chris Pine back. I hope Chris Pine is back. As Steve Trevor. As much as I don't trust people with two first names. And yeah, I hope to see that there is some bigger changes in the DC universe. But we'll see when the time comes.
Yeah, I feel they got a new studio head director guy, for I think Warner Brothers and DC proper, and they're kind of we're shifting focus, and they can definitely tell that they're culling a few things here and there, and and you can definitely see in the content that they offer, because obviously they've got their stream